The Portland Trailblazers, they barely made the playoffs this past year because they were injured. 2 years ago, they were the third seed in the NBA, but we're always questioning them about their third star because they've never been aggressive to try to get one. But now it might be their shot. Gordon Hayward, there have been rumors that he wants out of Boston.
Are we still classifying him as a star?
Gordon Hayward? I think he has that type of potential. But do you think that Portland should make a push and try to trade for Gordon Hayward?
I guess my answer, is going to depend on these. It depends on their plan moving forward. This team, the team that went to the playoffs and that was a third seed, right? The team that went to the WCF, played the Warriors. That team was tough, rugged. They had Seth Curry, Rodney
Nurkic
Hood.
was out too.
Yeah, Nurkic didn't even play. They had some dogs. They had guys coming off the bench scoring, guys coming up for them on nights they didn't even know they were going to come up for them. So you got that team, and then you let Seth Curry go. Last year Rodney Hood tore his ACL, but they weren't that good last year. Nurkic comes back, they were okay, but now you need Dame is a great player. Don't get me wrong. Top 10, probably end of the 10, maybe 12, best player in the league. CJ McCollum. Now, the thing with CJ McCollum is I don't think he's a second star. I think he fits the mold of a third type star, a guy who can go get a bucket, yes, but that's it. If his shot is not falling for you, he's not doing anything for you. So I think bringing in Gordon Hayward, a guy who can play D at an above average level, who can play make for others, who can score, I think that would help them in their quest to do whatever. I don't know about get to the championship, but in their quest to be very competitive in the West.
I think they should make this trade. Portland has kind of been enforcing the mindset that they're not going to try to rebuild.
Yeah.
Because if they were going to rebuild, they should have did it years ago. And in all honesty, they need a third star. I don't know if Gordon is that. I know his ceiling is that for sure. I mean, he was like the fourth option in Boston. You have Kemba, Tatum, Brown.
And he's still putting up good numbers.
And then Hayward. And I mean, look, Hayward was putting up 17 points per game, 50% from the field, 38% from three. And this is a no-brainer for me. I mean, especially the trade package they were talking about. There's a rumored trade package of Rodney Hood, Zach Collins, and Trevor Ariza.
Yes.
If you can, Zach Collins is the main guy because the Celtics need a center. Zach Collins for his career averages 6 points and 4 rebounds per game. He only played 17 minutes for his career. That's what he averages. If it's basically Zach Collins and a bunch of role players for Gordon Hayward, I'll take that in a heartbeat. That's a no-brainer for me. Because then you'd have a team of Dame, CJ, Hayward, Melo, because I'm guessing he's coming back, and Nurkic.
You think Whiteside comes back?
I don't know if Whiteside. I don't think he comes back because I think he wants to start somewhere, and I think he can start somewhere, and that's not in Portland. But I'm not sure about that. But I think Portland, this move doesn't take them over the hump. They're not going to win a championship. They probably make it to the second round at best. But I think it's a move to compete to get better.
Yes.
Because right now they're kind of stuck in that no man's land. You have a star player in Dame, but
that's it.
We know that you guys are not going to go anywhere year in and year out. Portland, nobody's scared of Portland. They're a team that's entertaining to watch, but nobody's scared of them. But then you have to get into the question, do they need Gordon Hayward? I mean, they were 6th in points scored last year. They were 3rd in three-point percentage, and they were 15th in attempts, and they were 26th in defense. So obviously, that 26 in defense number, I don't think Hayward puts them way above that number. They'll probably be still in the 20s.
I think
if they get him.
I think you just need another guy that's not Dame and CJ that can get the ball and go score. I think that's what it really is. Because when you play Portland, you know what's going to happen. You know what they're going to do. You know who's always going to have the ball. So I think with Gordon Hayward, you have another guy who can open up looks for everybody else. And if they do bring Melo back, that would be really good too. But also, a lot of people forget with Portland, they were really injured last year. Nurkic was out, Rodney Hood was out. So they was missing a couple of their key guys. Zach Collins, like you said, he's playing 7, but he was hurt too last year. So they were missing a couple key guys. So I think with that trade package, which is terrible, but if you could do that for Gordon Hayward, yeah, pull the trigger.
Yeah, I mean, Gordon, ever since his gruesome leg injury,
has been the same.
Well, I guess you can say that he hasn't been the same, but I think he's still been a kind of borderline all-star player. I think if he still had his team, Like, if he was still the number
Utah?
one option, he'd be an all-star, especially if it was in the East. But in the West, like, even if he goes to Portland, I see him around that 17 to 20 points per game a night.
Right.
Like, I don't see him, all of a sudden scoring like 24. Like, I think that's who he is. But, yeah, I agree. I don't think this move takes him over the top. But if you're just giving up Zach Collins, then you pull the trigger. Like, it's a no-brainer to do it.
Absolutely.